Here's the review. What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today I am joined by the first time ever by Rob from the Big Rob Theory to discuss a 2001 Steven Spielberg film that has kind of gone under the radar a little bit. It's AI, artificial intelligence. In the nearby future, technology has taken us to untethered horizons, which only gets a little bit more complicated when a robotics company decides to make the first robotic child named David, capable of love, something its adoptive parents are just unable to embrace. Soon, his adoptive mother leaves him in the woods alone, and David is willing to stop at nothing to find the famed blue fairy spoken about in the Pinocchio story to transform him into a real boy so that his mother can love him again. First off, I want to thank the Big Rob Theory for joining me on my video today. We'll be hearing from him in just a hot second, but I did leave a link to his channel in my description box below if y'all like to check him out. Give him some love, give him a subscribe. He definitely deserves it. But before we hear from him, I want to first start listing off some good things about this film because there's a lot. But it is a movie that, for whatever reason, has been kind of forgotten over the last 20 years. People don't really talk about it that much. And I'm not entirely sure as to why. I mean, it's good. It's really good. One of the first things that I thought about when I saw the movie was just how big and ambitious the project feels as a whole. There's just so much going on in the movie that it's almost an epic adventure of sorts, carrying along all the roller coaster of emotions a good adventure typically has. I mean, the film's kind of all over the place in a way because a part of it is just so light and innocent and full of hope and wonder as this child wants nothing more than to learn more and more about the world that surrounds him. And then a big part of the movie is also just grimy and dark and depressing. I mean, the premise as a whole is all about this kid that is just so desperate for the love of his mother that abandoned him in the woods that he's willing to go after a fictional character to obtain that love. And you as an audience member, you're not exactly sure what's gonna happen, what he's gonna run into, but you're pretty sure it's not gonna be the blue fairy from Pinocchio. Sure, you're watching a robot, but a robot that was programmed to love, which means if he's programmed to love, you better bet he's capable of feeling the weight of love when it's lost, and all the pain that's associated with that. This kid is in turmoil, but the adventure he goes on with all these other robots is almost mystifying in a way. It's hard to explain. Another thing that came to me when I watched this movie was just that it feels like, just like it holds up so well. 20 years after its initial release, 2 decades, and I swear to you, this movie could come out today in 2021, and you'd be none the wiser. The film is immaculate in its visuals, in its cinematography, in its production, and set designs when it comes down to the vision of the nearby futuristic landscape, right? It's not trying to go all out with what the future looks like. It's just subtle enough to believe. For instance, there's no, flying cars or whatever, but the cars that the movie does have look and sound a little bit different than what you're used to seeing in today's world. It's believable. The acting as well, it's incredible. Everybody does a fantastic job in the film, and I especially liked Haley Joel Osment in the role. I think it's technically one of his best performances ever, and I wish more people would watch this movie. Even though it's taking a huge page out of, Pinocchio, it still feels very fresh and original. It's not a movie I've seen many times in my life, but I still remember a lot about what happens in the film because a lot of it is memorable. But before I start talking about maybe some negatives, let's hear what the Big Rob Theory had to say about artificial intelligence. Take it away, dude.
What's happening, guys? It's your boy, the Big Rob Theory, and today I have the luxury of being part of Interpreting the Stars channel, or David Gillian's channel. We are going to be collaborating, reviewing... Sorry, that was horrible grammar. Today we're going to be joining each other on a collaborative review of the movie AI, or Artificial Intelligence, by Steven Spielberg. I don't know why it took me so long to watch this film, especially because of how much I love the idea of technology and artificial intelligence and robots integrated with human emotions, as dangerous as that can be, as subjected by the movie and various other articles and videos. But either way, Haley Joel Osment did a great job in this movie, and so did Jude Law. And another very great actor that's in this, that's also in a show that I really love, The Big Bang Theory, Kevin Sussman. This movie is actually phenomenal, you know, and I think it was low-key ahead of its time back in 2001, because for a while now, people have been trying to get artificial intelligence to be a thing, even in earlier years. Like, we all want easier ways of doing things. We want robots to kind of do certain things for us, but not everything. Then there's people who want robots to do everything so that they have to do nothing. This movie really touched on how it would be for a robot to have true human emotions such as love, fear, anger, hate, discernment, you know, like trying to like problem solve like a human would, not like a robot would. Counting on emotions and using emotions as a factor in decision making as opposed to just sheer common sense, knowledge, and facts and numbers, you know? That's why I really like this movie, because the first act was kind of slow, it was building up, you know? I've seen various reviews that have said how this movie, you know, was not great and it was blah, 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 and too slow, and it's like, well, when you think about it, it needed to be built up in the beginning, especially the first act. You have to kind of build up. You can't just jump in and be like, "Boo-doo-doo! Here we go with all robots and all the human emotions, and this is how this works." Like, no, player. You gotta have a build up. You gotta have something that substantiates what this movie truly is about. And I really love that the first act was slow. You know, it was just building up about this human, this child / android that was trying to be taught the emotions of a human, you know, especially as a child. That's rough. I loved this movie so much because it paints a perfect picture of what could be if we really do try to incorporate AI intelligence into real life and robots, which, my personal opinion, it is both good and bad. You know, I firmly believe that there's good and bad in everything, just like, you know, everything is good in moderation, but too much of it, it starts to get bad. That's what I think about AI. Like AI, if you try to get an like artificial intelligence robot to do too much, that's when things are going to get really haywire. Or as opposed to if you let this AI being do its thing and kind of coach it every now and then and let it have free will to a certain degree and explain why certain things are wrong and why certain things are right, it could be beneficial, you know? And that's what I like about this movie, is that it just shows you all aspects of that. You know, like in the second act, it got a little bit like more exciting, colorful, and dark in the way of how certain things went in the movie. I know it's an old movie. I don't really want to spoil anything, because if you're like me and you enjoy watching older movies or even new movies that come out and you just slept on them, you know, it's nice to see it for the first time without hearing anything about it. If it wasn't for Dave, I would not have even slightly looked at this movie. I had heard the name before, but never seen any preview, never seen anything about it. Can you believe that? Never. But I'm glad that he came to me with this, because I actually really loved this movie. I didn't think I was going to as much as I did, but I truly did, because I understood where it was coming from, you know? So I thank you guys for joining me for my part of this movie review. I'm sorry that I kind of went off a spiel about AI more than the actual movie itself, but that's because it just ties into the movie, you know? And I just want you guys to watch it. Like, I try not to do too many spoilers whenever I do reviews, so that's why I didn't really say too much. But again, thank you, Dave, for having me to be part of this collaborative review, and I look forward to do many more with you in the future. Thanks, guys. Until the next one.
Huge thanks to the Big Rob Theory for joining me on my channel today. Again, I want to urge everybody watching this to go ahead and check out his channel, which I left a link to in my description box below. Send him some love, give him a subscribe. He has a lot of stuff that I think is unique and worth subscribing to, so go do it. And I think that we definitely agree on this movie as a whole. We both very much enjoyed what was going on, because it's kind of a magical experience when you watch the movie. But I mean, if we talked about anything negative, I don't really have that much to say about it. But if I had to pick some negatives out, it would probably have something to do with the pacing, kind of like how you mentioned some people complain about being slow. I feel like at times you can feel the length. 2.5 hours long is a big commitment for a lot of people, including myself, and I'd be lying if I said I never checked the time when I watched the movie. Anytime the film got a little bit slower, I tapped my feet a little bit, even for high tension scenes like in the middle of the movie where a bunch of humans are trying to figure out different ways to torture and kill robots. Supposed to be really, really tense and crazy, and I often feel like I'm often saying, get on with it, get to the next part already, because this part isn't exactly why I'm watching the movie, if that makes any sense. Another thing that I see a lot of people complain about with this film is the very, very end. Now, I don't want to get into spoiler territory, kind of like you. I definitely don't. So I'll kind of give a hint, maybe, if I can, just for you to keep in mind when you watch it. At the end, what you see is not aliens. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a little bit cryptic, I know, but if you keep that in mind, you may understand it a little bit more and appreciate what's actually happening. Other than that, I don't have anything more negative to say. I think the film is absolutely solid. I think it's worth the watch, and one of the better robot films that exist out there, both from an unbiased technical perspective and from a solely entertainment level. Looking at the end score, these numbers should reflect that. From a technical level, I really appreciated a lot of what was going on behind the scenes, like visuals, production design, set design, cinematography, character development, everything. This scores 88%. My bias score, which just looks at how I feel about the film overall, is a little bit higher because, again, the film is mystifying in my eyes. It's one of a kind, so I rated this score 92%. Averaging out the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 90%. 90 out of 100 possible stars, or an A- letter grade. Thank you to everybody who stuck around and watched the review, and thanks once again to Rob. I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun to revisit, and I hope that you and I can collab on future reviews as well. And as for everybody watching, make sure that you hit that like, subscribe button, and a bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick. Thanks for joining up with us.